Welcome to Change It Up Radio with Paula Shaw. I am your host, and I am also a life transition coach. So, my work is all about helping people who are dealing with change. And that's why we call this show Change It Up Radio. It began as a radio show. Now we are strictly a podcast, but we stayed with our branding because we loved it. So, also in my work, I am an author. I have written 3 books. I have written Chakras, the Magnificent Seven, which is a book that's all about helping people balance their chakras so that their energy can be more effective and better utilized. I have also written a book called Grief. When will this pain ever end? And of course, that's how we all feel when we're going through a grief experience because the even if it's one that we expect to happen, and sometimes it isn't, a lot of unexpected surprises happen in life that bring us to a state of grief. And remember, grief is the normal, natural response to any loss. It's not just about death. So that book, Grief, When Will This Pain Ever End, is filled with articles, processes, and tools to help you move through your grief and not get stuck in it. And then my latest book is actually one of my favorites. It's called Saying the Right Thing When You Don't Know What to Say. And one of the things I really love about this book is that it actually gives you not only the understanding of what are the necessary components for having a successful, supportive conversation with someone in emotional pain, but it also gives you an understanding of what isn't helpful. It gives you actual sentences that are not helpful to speak to someone who is in pain. So, Saying the Right Thing When You Don't Know What to Say is the latest book. And of course, all of these books are available on Amazon. And one thing I would invite you to pick up at absolutely no charge, if you go to paulashaw.com, that's paulashaw.com, you can get a complimentary copy of my little ebook called 20 Things to Say and Not to Say to People in Emotional Pain. And that little cheat sheet, as it were, gives you statements that are helpful and statements that you want to avoid. It's kind of a perfect thing to keep in your glove box or in your briefcase, wherever you might need it in case you end up in a conversation with someone who's going through a hard time. Today, we are going to be talking with Amy Scruggs. And Amy Scruggs is special to me on many, many levels. She is a great human. She's an exemplary human. She is a dear friend. And we are currently working together creating a 501c3, a nonprofit called Voice for Heroes, that is going to be a platform to spotlight businesses and nonprofits that are trying to make the world a better place. There's going to be a podcast, there's going to be a video show, there's going to be all kinds of great components to it, and we are very excited about Voice for Heroes. So we'll probably be talking a little bit more about that in a bit. And also remember, if you want to learn more about Change It Up Radio, this very show, if you want to learn how to be a sponsor or even a guest on this show, you can get all that information on changeitupradio.com. That's also a great place where you can hear past shows. And oh my goodness, we've had some amazing people on this show. So please check out changeitupradio.com. All right, without any further ado, and by the way, some of you may remember Amy has been on my show before, but last week she released a song that I really want to say has changed my life. I listen to it every single day, multiple times, because you may remember a few shows back, my nephew Patrick Gutman, who is a music composer, Patrick was talking about how music can be a very easy way to open the door to an energy shift. It can take you from one state to another in a very simple fashion. That's what this song has done for me. And I have been sharing it with everybody I know. And then I just said, Amy, you've got to come on the show, and we've just got to share it from this platform as well. So let me tell you just a little bit about Amy for those of you who she may be new to. She is a media professional. She is the voice and face of Mutual of Omaha Mortgage. She's the current host for the national show Financing. I was going to say facing, not facing, but financing the American Dream on CNBC. Her past hosting credits include the Parent TV show, American Dream, Lifestyle San Diego, and The Retiring Right show. She's a TV host, a recording artist, a public speaker, corporate spokesperson, and currently she is coaching people on media because, we're all on Zoom these days, and some of us were disastrous in how we were approaching that. Amy's new book, Lights, Camera, and Action, gives you a lot of great tips about how to do on-camera work, media work well. And so without any further ado, let's get this woman out here so we can introduce you to the new song. And she and I are going to talk about how that song evolved and what it's all about. Hey, girl.
Hi. Oh, my goodness. That was okay. Woo. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. That was a very thoughtful introduction.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for making it all real.
We've been busy, haven't we?
We have been very busy and happily busy, right? I mean,
Yes.
we're all so excited. We are also working with our dear friend Laura McKinnon, who is sort of the financial brains behind the outfit, thank God.
She's breathing new life into this and taking our passion and purpose and actually going to be able to put some concrete action items behind it to help us achieve this. It's very exciting.
Yes, I know. It is really exciting. And we're very excited about the people that we're going to be able to reach out to and help. So good things on the excuse me, on the horizon, and we will be keeping you all posted as to what we're up to along the way. Absolutely. So Amy, I was thinking that maybe before we even begin to talk about this song, we should just play it for them.
I would love that. And if it's okay, I have the official music video that is in pre-release right now. It has
Ooh.
not officially been launched, but I can do a soft release right here for your viewers and your listeners. Enjoy the song. You're going to hear all the richness that we did in studio, the full recording. But if you're watching this podcast, then you are going to be able to see this sneak peek of the official music video, if that's okay.
Oh, that's very exciting. And I have seen this before and it makes me cry every time, so I can't wait to see it again.
All right.
Here we go. Fasten your seatbelts.
What if that road that you're taking's a dead end? What if love leaves you all jaded and broken? What if that limb breaks you're climbing out on? Yeah, what if it all goes wrong? But what if it all goes right? What if it all works out? What if the stars line up and good luck rains down? What if you that road is a beautiful slow drive? What if that love ends up lasting a lifetime? What if that limb holds you oak tree strong? What if this time nothing goes wrong? What if it all goes right? What if it all works out? What if the stars line up and good luck rains down? What if you chase your dream and it changes your whole life? Yeah, what if it all goes right? What if you jump on a trampoline and touch the sky? Grab a cloud as it passes by. You might fall, but then again, you might What if it all goes right? What if it all works out? What if the stars line up and good luck rains down? What if you chase your dream and it changes your whole life? Yeah, what if it all goes right? What if it all goes right?
Oh, Amy, every time I hear it, it just touches my heart in the same way it did the first time I heard it. And I can't not move. I can't not smile. I mean, there's so much about this that's so powerful. And I shared with you, but I want to share with my listeners. My parents don't hear as well as they used to. So I visited them recently, and I couldn't wait to share this song with them. But just to be sure that they didn't miss the words because the lyrics are so powerful, I typed out all the words for them, and they sat down, excuse me, next to the screen. I was had little bits of the video I could show, but I didn't have this whole thing. But they listened to the song, and my mom, 91, is bopping in her seat, and she starts singing along with it because she had the words.
Oh, that's so great.
And my dad is 96, and my dad listens to this song, and when it was done, he said, "The world needs this song." He's like, with all the crap that's going on out there, this is what people need to hear. And I said, oh my God, that's exactly what my words were to you. Remember, Amy? I said, the world needs this song. And it's interesting to me because for a lot of reasons, okay? And you and I had a wonderful talk the other day, a lot of which I want to share with everybody on this show. But one of the things that I think is so great about this show or this song is, oh God, you're always hearing people say, well, think positively, speak positively, have a positive perspective. But it's kind of like this song encapsulates all of that, and you can just sing and dance,
Right.
and it shifts you to this positive place.
Without overthinking it.
Exactly, without overthinking it. And one of the things, when I was thinking about us talking about this today, one of the things that occurred to me is, it is a fact. Humans are hardwired to focus on the negative. And the reason for that is that when we were primitive beings, if we didn't remember where danger was or what foods could kill us or that might be poisonous or where the enemy lived or that in the dark if you weren't near a fire animals could come out of nowhere and hurt you or kill you. So we got this programming. We have this programming to focus on what could go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I love about this song is because it certainly benefits us to focus on what could go right because otherwise we can't create it. We know that from, law of attraction and energy. Energy attracts a vibrational match. So if we're only focused on what could go wrong, we're going to attract a lot of what could go wrong. But this idea, what if it all goes right? Amy, share with them, please, kind of the origin story. Where did
Yes.
these amazing words come from? How did you choose this song? Tell us all about it.
Well, this is a fun, and I'll keep this part of it brief, but I was in the song search. I knew we were going to go back to Nashville and record this project well over a year ago. And my A&R representative in Nashville, this is what he does. He has relationships with all of the publishers and major songwriters in Nashville. And so I sent him out on the song search, and he was pitched on my behalf well over 1,000 songs that he would read through and decide, I think Amy would like this, or this sounds like Amy, and he sent me a couple hundred of them.
Oh
This
my.
was one of the songs within over a few months, this huge amount of music that was coming to me through email that I would go through, and you really just kind of listen to maybe a verse and a chorus. There's no way you can listen to 1,000 songs. So you learn how to kind of find, okay, is this work? Yes, maybe I want to hear more. And the title of this one struck me when I was going through that needle in a haystack.
Mm-hmm.
And then I listened to the verse and chorus, and then I went, wait, I want to listen to the whole thing. And I knew this was a song that I needed to do. It right away went to the top of the list. And we were only going to be choosing 5 songs for this EP project.
Wow.
So out of 1,000, we had to narrow it down to 5. And this one right away, I knew needed to be on the list. And so it was really fun when the producer agreed. He said, nope, you're right. That's it. And my A&R rep said, yep, that's it. So we kind of shelved it and said, we knew within a month or two before recording that this song was going to make it. We went to studio and we had all 5 songs to record over that 2-week period. This one in studio with, I had the world-class, most amazing musicians you could ever ask for in the biggest, greatest music studio in Nashville. This is where the legends have stood. So it's already a magical moment for me because it took me 18 years to get back to Nashville from the first time I went and started recording. I thought I had lost that dream. I thought that it was gone. And they never forgot about me. And I've had all these years that I had other responsibilities and things that I had to do. And I went out and toured for years. I still got to be a touring recording artist, but I hadn't been back in studio to record a new project. And so this was a very magical moment that for me at this stage in life and grown kids that they said, come on back, it's time. And for this song to kind of have that, like, it was that I've always said, never give up, don't let go. That's always kind of been my motto. So this song really helped with that of just, what if this is my moment? This is when it went right for me. It just took 18 years to get back here. In studio that day with those world-class musicians, we knew it in the first take. It was magic. It was absolute magic. And Fred Mullen is the producer, and he's a legendary world-class producer. Has worked with some of the biggest names in music for years, as well as his several years as the head of all music for Disney. So you can hear some of that Disney magic on there. And he took off his headphones in that first take, and he said, "Oh my God, everybody, this is a hit." We just knew. We all felt the magic. There was something special.
I feel teary.
There was energy and magic in the room as we did it together that we all, as musicians and as a team, all meeting each other for the first time, loved this song. So then to complete it and watch it now take this new life is incredible. Well, then fast forward a week later when we're doing the last parts of the recording process, which is bringing in any extra musicians, backup vocals, and all of that extra tracking work that they need to do. Well, Tanya, and I want to pronounce her name right, I have it here, Tanya Hancheroff. This was written by Tanya Hancheroff, Tamara Heiler, and Shay Smith. Tanya Hancheroff ended up being called in to be the backup singer for this song.
Oh,
She's one of the writers.
wow.
So I get to meet her, and we're standing there together, and she says, I am so happy you cut this song. Thank you. She loved the version. She
Mm,
said she wrote this out of passion herself for the world wanting to know this message. She's a mom, she's a professional singer, and she wanted the
wow.
world to know this message of
Mm.
positivity. And what's fun about this is the song was actually chosen by a major label about 10 years ago.
Oh,
And it was saved for the winner of one of the singing contests. And so
oh.
this girl won the singing, one of the ones that we watch on TV, the singing
Mm-hmm.
contest. So there was a young woman that won the contest, and this was going to be her breakout single for winning the contest with
Uh-huh.
this major label. Well, something happened and things didn't work out, and she ended up not being able to finish those recordings. So this song never took a life. So they put it on the
Oh.
shelf because now the song pluggers and people in Nashville thought that maybe this song, people would hear it, it was attached to that label. It needs to sit for a while. The air needs to clear around it.
Oh.
It's been sitting for 10 years
Oh my
until I just
gosh.
plucked it out, till it was
Oh,
presented to me. It was meant to wait for the world.
totally.
It sat on a
Totally.
shelf.
Oh,
Nobody picked this song up
no.
for 10 years.
It was yours. It
It was
had to
meant to
be
be mine.
sung
And
with
I
your
had to walk
voice.
my journey to get back to it. And it had to walk its journey to find me.
Oh
And
my
there's four
God.
other beautiful songs in the project, but this one is such magic
Mm-hmm.
and was meant for me. And when I'm seeing the response, it's just gone to radio in the last 3 weeks, and it's been picked up by over 50 stations globally in the first 3 weeks. It's
Yay.
charting on the country charts for global radio right now. It is just taking on a new life. That video is going to release hopefully in the next week or two. And I can't wait to see what takes place and what's up ahead for the world. Really, hopefully, hearing this song, please share it. If you just heard it and you love it, go to any favorite streaming platform, find it, share it, download it, stream it, because I
Yes.
really want to get the message out on this one.
Oh, God, me too. And you and I were talking the other day about what drew you to the song. And I think that's kind of what made it so special to me. Because in my own life, due to circumstances that were not always in my control, and I know everybody can relate to this, I've spent a lot of time in fight flight. I've spent a lot of time running as fast as I can, so to speak, to try to hold the sky up and make sure disaster didn't strike. And as long as I've known you, we didn't have this conversation until the other day. But you've had your hands full over the years too. Maybe you can share a little bit of that.
It's been a tremendous amount of loss and grief and forks in the road. I went through the financial crisis of 2007, 8, 9 during that time period when the mortgage and real estate industry collapsed. My entire livelihood at that time was wholesale mortgage and being out there bringing in business.
Mm.
I was always singing on the side. I had gone to Nashville and recorded. I was always performing, but the main bread and butter that fed us was definitely what I was able to have out in the business world and as a sales manager. And that completely disappeared. January of 07, I had to have a major surgery, full hysterectomy. At the same time, I was watching the news as the financial industry crashing. And
Oh,
I came out of that surgery recovery to no job.
mm,
And I said, okay, well, sales skills are sales skills, and they call it music business for a reason. Run it as a business. So I took the same skills and put it into asking for the business in music, and went out. And 6 months later, I was opening for Clint Black on a national stage and started that process of touring full time so that I
mhm.
could continue to shift and pursue and feed the kids and still have my passions and my music. But it was a very difficult time. It was still tough making all the ends meet and keeping things together.
Mhm.
And we did it, but not fully.
Mhm.
Lost my home in 2011 and had to start over. And that's when I made the move to San Diego and went back into the mortgage industry, doing management and business development, still singing. I mean, I've had incredible major national stages at the same time that I've had complete collapses happen. I was opening for Trace Atkins at a sold out crowd, 20,000 people at a huge arena, the same time that I was basically homeless and making the move and transitioning to San Diego with my daughter.
Oh
So there
my
was always
gosh.
this something taking place. I was the spokesperson for the American veterans for 3 years, but at the same time, there were times I was struggling to feed my own kids. And so there's always been that fight or flight. and
Mm-hmm.
the persevering through and still trying not to give up on my passions, run things as a business, but always knowing that that's always on your heels, and you better keep working hard, and you better keep doing it. And this song, I feel, undid some of those old tapes of hearing, maybe other well-meaning people in our lives that might say, well, what if this happens, and what if that happens, and what if you don't
Exactly.
do it, well, what are you doing, what if this, and maybe you should do this. And to see it come together and go, yeah, but what if it goes right?
Yeah.
And I felt all of that standing in that studio
Mm.
doing this song. I feel all of that now as radio is hearing it. I'm like, how many people told me to stop doing music and get a day job during that time?
Mm-hmm.
That was my day job. I actually did better with that than I would have trying to scramble back into an industry that didn't exist. There wasn't one for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just thankful. What if it does go right? And it doesn't mean we don't have hard times getting to the what goes right. It means
Mm-hmm.
it's part of our journey, right?
Perfect. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back to talk about what if it all goes right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Change It Up Radio. I'm your host, Paula Shaw, and I am here today with a guest who is one of my favorite humans on the planet. Her name is Amy Scruggs. If you're just joining us, you missed us playing her amazing song that we are discussing today called What If It All Goes Right? So if you missed that, look for it. Find it on any music platform because you really want to hear this song. That's the whole reason we're doing this show today, because this song has changed my life and I want to help Amy get it to more of you because it's amazing. So we've been talking about this idea of living in kind of a fight flight mode, which began for you and for me. You had how many children, Amy?
I have four.
Four children. So you had four children. And if you're just joining us, Amy was talking about how when there was the mortgage, the whole real estate mortgage crash in 2008, she lost her job and she now had four children to feed.
Yes.
And so, and not in those same circumstances, but in other circumstances too. I think for me too, it was that moment I became a mom when the finances were not etched in stone and securely there. I developed what I used to call my panting syndrome. I felt like I was always
Yes.
running from one thing to the next, trying to hold it all together, trying to make sure my children had a home and food and all of that. And Amy and I were sharing with each other the other day. This then becomes sort of like this ingrained pattern. And even though today neither of us is worried about missing a meal, we still have this tendency to be running as fast as we can, being productive, making sure we were productive that day, that we worked hard because of this patterning.
Mm-hmm.
Even if reality is saying the rent is paid, the mortgage is paid, there's food in the cupboard, you don't have to worry. But that voice in your head goes, yeah, but what if,
Right.
right?
Because we're preconditioned that it still happens. It could happen tomorrow. What,
That's
right?
right.
That, okay, but as long as I do everything I could possibly do today, I can at least prevent that from happening. That
Mm-hmm.
constant cycle that is just so tough to get out of.
Exactly. And here's the tricky part. Those of you who know me know that I am a founding member of the Association for Comprehensive Energy Psychology. So, what we know about energy is that whatever we focus on, we feed energy to, and whatever we feed energy to grows. So, we need to be really thinking about what do we want to grow? Do we want to grow our fear of disaster? Do we want to grow that roller coaster lifestyle where one minute we have it and the next minute there's nothing? Or do we want to grow ease and grace? Do we want to grow feeling safe, feeling a sense of comfort and joy in the moment rather than fear and angst?
Mm-hmm.
And so I know in my life right now, and I know you're there too, Amy, I want to grow ease. I want to grow service with joy. Like I spoke in the beginning about our nonprofit, Voice for Heroes. We want to be of service. We want to be doing, but we want to do it with ease and grace and joy.
Mhm.
And that in certainly in my case is causing me to have to do some rewiring because the old wiring is on the wrong channel.
Sure. We start to panic. Oh, we haven't done enough. Are we behind? What are we missing? What could I
Hmm.
be doing more of? Did I
Yes.
miss something?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people listening to this that can relate. I remember once somebody saying to me, "You're a human being, not a human doing." But I think I actually have moments where I feel guilty and a little bit afraid if I wasn't productive enough that day.
Completely. That is me.
Mm,
That is what I struggle with as well.
yes. And that's one of the things I'm working on because there is no end to the to do list,
Right.
right? There's always one more thing you should
Right
be
here.
doing, right? Something you should be doing to promote yourself somewhere else or to gain a new client or to start the next book, whatever it is. And I think, it's important for women like us to share this side because a lot of women who are just like us feel like they're the only ones.
Right.
They feel concerned or defective or whatever, that they can't get it together and seem to relax and enjoy life like it looks like all their friends are doing, right? And I know you, when we were talking last week, you even mentioned that some of your friends don't understand why you seem to be on this treadmill all the time, running, running, running. And I think it's so important for us to do two things: to understand where it came from, which we just shared. But then the other thing is to realize that in this moment in time, things are different. This moment in time has never existed before. So all that you and I experienced in the past isn't real right here, right now, is it?
Right.
It's just our story.
Right.
And our story only has power if we give it power. And so that I think is for me a really important part of the work I'm doing right now is to pull the plug on that old story and really be aware of where I am now, and that if I want to really invite ease and grace and prosperity in, I have to focus on that, right? I have to
Yes.
give it, and then I'm a match to receive it. But that's tricky.
It
It's
is.
so tricky. One of the things I loved in our conversation the other day was we were being so real with each other. Because how long have people said to you, well, you just have to be a vibrational match for abundance and it will flow to you and be there
What if I
consistent?
screwed that up?
Exactly. Oh God, am I not meditating
I'm
right?
not meditating right. Add it to the list. I just messed it up somehow today. You know what I'm trying to make a new habit of as well? When some of those old tapes are in my head, or I feel that fluttering anxiety or that, workaholism or that needing to produce, I'll stop and say cancel out loud, where I try
Ooh,
to command my mind to cancel that thought and then switch it
beautiful.
over. And I would literally, I look like a lunatic walking around the house sometimes. It would be like, cancel, you know. But it's working. It's like I'm trying to push that GFI button, just reset
Yes, I love it.
cancel, and then I can stop that moment of anxiety, worry, that kind of thing. And one of the
Yes.
favorite lines I have in this that are in that song that they wrote you know, we've all been guilty, I'm sure, of saying this. You're like, I'm out on a limb here. Hey, I'm out on a limb. I'm always, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we're hanging out on a limb. But the line in there that says, what if that limb holds you oak tree strong? What if that
Yes.
limb you're climbing on holds
Mm.
you oak tree strong? And I love that. Oh, yeah, maybe I'm on a limb. That's right where I'm supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be. And that's my strength is holding me up. And
Yes.
it's really helped change my mindset just by that line in the song that happens to be my favorite.
Wow. I love that. And you know, there are some lines in that song that I really love too. Um, I love what if you jump on a trampoline and touch
Touch
the
the sky
sky and or what's the other? Grab a cloud as
out
it
as it
passes by.
passes
And
by.
then that voice, you might fall. You might fall, but then again, you might fly. Oh, my heart
I remember
sings
having
every time.
goosebumps recording it, finally getting to sing it because
Mm,
these songs, you know, I had to kind of learn them just listening to the demo of somebody else's voice, which is tricky. It's hard to put
mm-hmm.
your own voice on something when you're listening to somebody else's. So then you kind of have to let go of it. And I go into studio, I'm like, I have to make this me. I have to make it
Yes.
my sound. I have to make it my heart and passion. And
Yes.
you have all the pressure of an entire studio full of musicians needing you to get it right and a producer
Right.
sitting there. So there was all the pressure with that. But this song, I cleared out any of that pressure of what I needed to do musically or what they were expecting. And I
Mm-hmm.
literally felt every word. And I think that's what was so magical about what came out, that we really only did a couple takes of this song and that
Wow.
was done. He goes, I have everything I need to work with. And the rest is history. And you can hear he did put his Disney magic on it.
Mm.
It's got that sound that it almost just came right out of a Disney movie. It's got that magic to it. The musicians were just first class. And I really, I'm going to say, what if it all goes right, that this song really reaches the broader audience that I've always dreamed a song
Yes.
could do.
Yes. And that's it. You know, even though you've been known for country style singing, this song, I've sent it to more people, some of whom who are into classical, some are into rock and roll, you know, every
And they,
genre, and they all hear the message of
yes,
this song. And you know, another line that I adore is, what if you chase your dreams and it
it
changes your
changes your
whole
whole
life? I
life.
almost can't say that
I can't
without
either
getting
because that's
teary.
what this did for me.
Yeah.
That's what this did. My entire life is different right now as I'm doing radio interviews and as I'm promoting this music that I could could not see would ever have the chance to do again. My last single that was out on radio was in 2009,
Yeah.
2010. And here we are
Wow.
12 years later. It does. It's that what if you chase your dreams and it changes your life?
Mm.
Because it will either way. Even if you chase the dream and it's not meant for you, what will change your life is learning the pursuit, learning
Yes.
that you won't look back and say, what if? And I think that's the
That's
one thing
right.
that I try to teach my kids. I would rather sit here and say, man, I've tried, 20 years. I've put it all out there.
Yes.
I will not sit someday when I'm older and say, what if?
Mm-hmm. And that's
I
so
won't.
important because that's a killer to know that you never gave it a shot. And I think that's part of what moves me about that line because it's not easy to chase your dream because we were saying earlier, there's so many practical people who love you who would like you to do something with a little bit more consistent or bigger income, you know, that you can count on. And when I was talking with Patrick, my nephew, about this on a show a couple of weeks back, and he's a music composer
Mhm.
and he's doing all kinds of different music right now. And I was saying, you know, when you're a creative, and you don't chase your dreams, it's kind of like a little death. You
Yes.
know, creative people have to chase their
Piece of
dreams.
our spirit isn't alive unless we are.
Yes, because you came to create. And I think that, and yet it takes courage to do that because it's not practical.
Right.
It's not consistent, stable, secure income.
Yep.
You know, you are stepping out on a
Stepping out.
limb. And yet, oh my gosh, what a perfect example of this. Yesterday I was watching the closing of the Olympics, which is a it's a I won't even say it's a show, it's an experience I adore every 4 years. But yesterday was the ending of actually competing or performing even for Shaun White, who brought snowboarding
Oh, I've watched him
to
throughout
the
this. It was amazing.
Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about he began it. He got it into the Olympics,
Yes.
and here he is now 20 years later at his last Olympics. Talk about chase
It
your
was
dream,
emotional.
and it
Oh,
changes your whole life. And watching how he's matured.
yes.
Remember, he was that crazy red
Yes.
haired guy with the long hair and everything. But that was such a, to me, such a beautiful example. You know, what if you
Yeah.
chase your dream and it changes your whole life? And I think, you know, like you, I encourage my children, and I think we should encourage all humans. Chase your dream. Chase your dream and believe that it's possible. And now you're at a vibrational level where that dream can find you as a match.
Yes.
But if you
Even if it
doubt
takes
it,
18 years, it's
that's
okay.
right.
I'm
That's
49 years old, and in hindsight now, I wouldn't have done this at any other time. I wouldn't have
Mm,
appreciated it the same. I may not have delivered it the same. And I needed to be matched up with this producer, with this team of musicians, and especially with these five
yes.
songs that were my magic. And it wouldn't have
Yes.
been there 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago. It just
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. It was
That's
here
it.
now. And the patience to keep pushing through, knowing your time will be there when it's your time.
Absolutely. And, you know, my mother used to always say, God's time, not our time. And I hated hearing that because I wanted it to be in my time when I was ready for it and when I wanted it. But you're so right, because when it's all in alignment, and that's what I see when all the vibration comes together and it aligns, then it happens.
Yes.
And it happens in the best way possible. And I know, you know, I love that I was privy to your sharing the video of you going back to Nashville to do all of this and knowing you through the whole process, because it was kind of crazy that here at a time when the world was shutting down and
In a
everybody was
pandemic.
freaking out about a pandemic, you're chasing your dream to Nashville and making this recording.
Yeah.
And I think it's just such a great example to all of us. It doesn't matter what's going on out there in the world, it matters what's going on inside us. And if that's working,
Mhm.
then anything is possible.
And it was such a blessing because I had the top world class musicians on this project.
Mhm.
Because of a pandemic, they weren't out touring again yet. They were all
Oh,
available.
oh my God, I didn't realize that. That's so
And
cool.
so it was amazing. I'm like, I have so and so, what? I have these incredible musicians. I mean, it was just the fiddle player, Russell. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just forgot his last name. I apologize. Anyways, he right after our project, he went back out on tour again with Yo Yo Ma. He's one of the most famous
Oh
violin and
my
fiddle
goodness.
players in the world. I had one of the biggest drummers of all time. The music directors for the Grand Ole Opry were in this project
Ah,
because they weren't over there at the Opry. There was just this magic. My producer was available because he was in between projects. It
mm,
was just this dream of it was. You're right, in the middle of a pandemic, but to keep pursuing and then have all the yeses line up right at that time.
oh,
We got all yeses. The publishers were excited to be pitching music. Everybody was thrilled to have the work and to be doing it. It was
mm-hmm.
just a beautiful, magical time. And it also is an example of a lot of years of just keeping relationships with people,
Mm-hmm.
doing the right thing, keeping good relationships. You don't know if somebody in your life today might be holding the keys to your dream 18 years
Exactly.
from now, but you've just kept a friendship. And then they might
Hmm.
meet somebody and know someone. And that's what happened here.
Yeah.
Maintaining those relationships that opened up to
Mm,
actually fulfilling the dream that I wouldn't have seen coming.
beautiful. And I think one of the other underlying lessons that I would like to bring up in closing this interview is, you know, my dear friend and coach Ellen McCarty always says, follow what feels good. And don't be afraid to trust what feels good, because when we're feeling good, we're connected with Source. When we're feeling good is when we're at we have our best shot for magic happening. And I think that's part of what I know of you, Amy, and what I'm hearing from you. It always felt good to sing. It always felt good to have that dream of having a major hit song. And in spite of what everybody said, you kept following that dream.
Yes.
And I think, well, I'm obviously very prejudiced, and I have said it from moment one today. But I think that this song and its impact on the world is going to be everything you ever dreamed you would experience in your career. And it also gives that part of you that's altruistic, that wants to help other people. It gives that airtime as well, because this is a song that can change people's lives.
Yes, it is. Imagine the people that can be encouraged by this. And
Yes.
relate to it in some way, shape, or form. And if I can encourage other women at this stage in life with 4 kids, they're all grown now, that it's not too late. You keep
Mm-hmm.
pursuing.
That's
Just keep
it.
doing it and seeing where it takes you.
It's only too late if you stop,
Mhm.
right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
let's don't stop. But before we are done, please let people know how they can reach out to you. I mentioned in the beginning that you do this media coaching. That's
I
amazing
do.
too. And besides your amazing voice, there may be people out there who know they're going to have to be doing a lot of Zoom meetings or videos or that kind of thing, and they can use your coaching services as well. So, how do people find you, Amy?
So I've got two main sites that both feed each other. So if you only remember one, that's okay. There's a link to the other on it, but it's amyscruggsmusic.com and amyscruggsmedia.com.
Oh,
Even if you just
easy.
Google Amy Scruggs, you will find it. It will get you there. So just put in my name
Perfect.
and you can't miss it. You will find it. The music, the first two songs are on all streaming platforms. The other 3 songs are going to be releasing over the next 3 months. So appreciate, the following, the sharing. That would be fantastic. All streaming platforms. amyscruggsmedia.com has all the information there. You can get the book. The book is available wherever books are sold as well. And it's been a really fun, interesting season. And when I get that negative thought, I'm going to keep saying cancel, cancel.
Cancel. And you know, one thing I forgot to mention when you were saying it out loud is powerful because your brain processes it in a different way,
Yes.
because that auditory processing is different than just thinking it. So you keep going for it no matter how nuts you may look to the people around you. All right, my love, thank you
Thank you.
so much. Thank
Such
you
a
to
treat.
all of you. And remember that word share. Please share this show, share that song, share, subscribe, like us so we can keep bringing you people like Ms. Amy Scruggs. All right. Thank you all for being here today, Amy. Thank you for blessing us with your
Bye.
presence. Bye bye. See you all next week.